Hey everyone, it's Lane with Tim's Nation. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the DeathGuard. I know, I've been running DeathGuard a lot lately. I'm getting ready for a team tournament in which I am bringing the DeathGuard, a 5-man team tournament in Michigan here, actually this coming weekend. So I'll let you know next week how we do there, but I just wanted to tune in this list a little bit. So it is the same as it's been the last couple weeks, other than I have a Predator Destructor instead of the Hellbrute this time. We'll see how he does. The matchup is different, of course. I'm playing into DJ's Necrons, his Canoptic Court, which is what I want to practice into. He's going to shoot me a whole lot. He's a high shooting army, and I barely have any shooting at all. So I wanted to practice in that, just see how well I do. My goal today is not to win so much as just to keep the score close, because in a team tournament, that's really my goal, is to take the hit from an opponent the rest of the people on my team don't want to play, but still score and still able to play the game. So if DJ beats me by 10, 15, even 20 points today, I'm still going to be happy with that performance, knowing that I was still able to score points in a differential scoring system that we use in the team tournaments. So yeah, well, let's run through the list here and talk a little bit about it afterwards. This is my DeathGuard list. We have just so very many characters, guys. Because I've got 2 10-man bricks of Plague Marines, we have 2 Biologist Putrefiers and 2 Foul Blight Spawns. I gotta have those guys. One gives me the lethals on 5s, which makes the Plague Marines so powerful. And then the other one gives me the fight first, which makes them just so tough to deal with in the fight phase. So the Biologist Putrefier, he also lets me grenade once per round for free. So the free grenades are really helpful into tougher targets when I need to do some mortals, because between the grenades, typhus, and maybe a tank shock from a carnivore, I can actually do quite a few mortal wounds in a turn. But again, he gives his unit lethals, and they are critical hits on 5-ups, which means that they have lethal hits on 5-ups, both shooting and fighting. And also when I use the strat to give me sustained, because it gives me criticals on 5-ups, that means I'm sustained on 5-ups as well. So, and then the Foul Blight Spawns, these guys just give me fight first, but they also have a very good flamer on them. D6 attacks, but it's strength 7, anti-infantry 2-up, 2 damage, AP 2, ignores cover. So it's a pretty strong flamer. Next, we've got 2 of the DeathGuard Sorcerers and Terminator armor. These guys are great. They've got their once per game shooting attack, where they buff up their shooting and become strength 8, 3 damage for 1 good turn of shooting. But they also, when they're leading a unit, and they often are leading my Death Shroud Terminators, when they lead a unit at the start of the fight phase, I roll D6 on a 2-up. Their unit becomes, reduces damage by 1 in that fight phase. So they can add some extra durability to the Death Shroud. Then we got a Lord of Virulence. He's going to be joining a 6-man brick of the Death Shroud. Just makes their flamer attacks really strong. Their flamers are anti-infantry 4-up, so he lets them re-roll all wounds from ranged attacks, meaning both in the shooting phase and the Overwatch, they are pretty spicy. Let's see here. And then, of course, we got Typhus. For 80 points, this guy's a beast. He's just going to be running solo today. He deep strikes. His Terminator is pretty tough, pretty durable. He fights pretty well, but he also has a psychic attack where I roll a D6. I just have to be able, within 18 inches invisible of something, and I can roll a D6. On a 2-up, he does D6 mortal wounds. On a 6, he does D3 plus 3. On a 1, he takes D3 mortal wounds, which happened last week. Hopefully we got that out of our system and do not do that again. But that is not a shooting attack. It's just a psychic ability. So he can still deep strike in, do an action or something, and still kick out those mortal wounds. So he's kind of a key play piece there. Then, like I said, we've got 2 10-mans of the Plague Marines. These guys are loaded out for close combat. So there's 5 heavy plague weapons, 4 bubotic weapons. The sergeant, of course, has a heavy plague weapon and a plasma gun. And then we've got 1 plague spewer in there just to give a little more firepower to the shooting. So 2 of those 10-mans. Their special rule is something I never, ever remember. I think they get like +1 leadership when they're on an objective or something dumb. Yeah. Each time they take a battle shock test, they add 1 to the test. If they're within range of an objective they control. Cool. I'll probably forget that. I promise I'll forget that. All right, these guys got to ride around in something, so I've got 2 of the DeathGuard Rhinos. The DeathGuard Rhinos are great just because they have A fair amount of shooting on them in terms of they got 2 Plague Bolters and the Havoc Launcher. They're great. If they survive, once they drop off the Plague Marines, they can drive around and spread the contagion. They can go around, do actions, get on objectives, that sort of thing. So they are definitely useful. Firing deck 2, so I can shoot the flamers out from the squad inside. That's handy. Next, I do have a 10-man squad of DeathGuard cultists. So these are the only thing that's not WYSIWYG. They are being played by little poxwalkers, but I'm using them as cultists just so I can get that scout move that helps me get into the middle of the table turn 1, so I can do actions, area denial, that sort of thing early in the game. The only change this week is I'm taking a DeathGuard Predator Destructor. The Predator Destructor has an autocannon up top and 2 las cannons. Special rule is every time he shoots infantry, he gets extra AP, which just makes him a little more effective. And then we have so many Death Shroud Terminators, guys. We have a 6-man brick of Death Shroud and 2 3-man bricks of Death Shroud. These guys have flamers for their shooting attacks. They have a decent shooting profile, at least for auto hitting. They are anti-infantry 4 up. Otherwise, they're only strength 3. So if I'm not shooting infantry, they don't do a whole lot. But their special rules when they're led by a character, they are neg 1 to wound, which makes them a little extra durable. As it is, they're T6 Terminators with 2 up, 4 up saves and 3 wounds. That makes them a little kind of difficult to chew through, especially when you're neg 1 to wound. Then their close combat attack's really good. They get 4 attacks apiece hitting on 2, strength 8, AP 2, 2 damage, lethal hits, so they can bonk. I just have to be able to get them there. The downside is they only have a 4-inch move, so I definitely have to make sure I take advantage of rapid ingress if I can, just to get them close to a target so they can actually do something. And then I got 2 War Dog Carnivores. I love these guys for 140 points. You got something that moves 14 inches as OC 8. Rerolls his charges for free, hits on 2s in close combat. You can just bonk really well. He's got a sweep and a strike profile. And yeah, a pretty solid little vehicle there. You got a 5-up invuln to shooting. It gives a little bit of durability. I've definitely found over the last couple of weeks that when these guys get into combat with something, though, they go away pretty quickly because they do not have that invuln. And so I'm going to try to avoid having them getting punched by anything particularly strong. So that's it. That's the list. So today, the contagion I choose will probably be a reduction of weapon skill and ballistic skill, just because DJ's army has a lot of invuln saves, so the extra AP or the armor reduction actually isn't that great. Because his Wraiths have a 4-up invuln, the Doomstalkers have a 4-up invuln. The Scarabs don't really have a save, so I'm not too worried about them. And the Spider's the only thing that really doesn't have an invuln, and there are 3-ups anyways. So yeah, I think it's going to be the weapon skill reduction, just so I can get close to them, put them into contagion. They're going to be a little more difficult to hit me, even though they are going to get rerolls to hit quite a bit. So big strategies today. Again, not looking to win, just looking to score a decent amount of points, keep the score within 20, less than 20, hopefully. The way differential scoring works, it's usually used in team tournaments, but basically, at the end of the game, each player gets 10 points. However, for every 5 points I beat you by in the game, I steal 1 of your points. So if I beat you by 10 points, then I take 2 of your points. So if we both get 10 at the end of the game and I won by 10, that means that I get 12 because I've taken 2 of yours and you get 8. So even if I lose the game, I can still score points for my team. And that's the goal here, is not necessarily to win, but just to keep it close as possible and score some points to contribute to my team score for the round. So I guess I'll talk more about how team tournament scoring works if you're interested in that when I do my recap next week of the event itself. But stay tuned for that. So yeah, today is just really, I'm trying to put the pressure on him as fast as possible. The Death Guard can really tank close combat attacks, so I'm not really worried about his close combat as much as I want to make sure I move as much as I can, as fast as I can, to put the pressure on him, to get him in the contagion range, to get his Doomstalkers tied up and in combat, so that I can stop them from shooting me. I don't want to get shot. They're flat 3 damage. They're going to pick up a Terminator every time they get past my invuln, so I don't want to let that happen. So that's the plan. Follow me over to the battle report. Let's see how these guys do. Let's see how they perform. See if I can keep the score close. All right, see you there, guys.